No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Happy Monday, Bronco Nation. Welcome on into a live edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. This is a Blue and Orange Store Monday, so head on down to the Blue and Orange Store at the Boise Town Square Mall there. They got their your basketball jerseys. They got some leftover Fiesta Bowl gear, some Ashton Genty NIL gear. You know where to go for the best selection, the best prices of Boise State gear. It is at the Blue and Orange Store, and our title sponsor, where you can find Mike Prater wearing his hat in the RowPaint.com studios. RowPaint.com, all your painting needs, those concrete coatings, those interior, exterior painting projects, hit him up, RowPaint.com. Yes, he is Mike Prater, KTIK 95.3, The Ticket, columnist for BNN. He joins us every Monday here on BNN. My name is BJ Rains, and for about the next 40 minutes or so, we'll be talking Boise State basketball, maybe a little Super Bowl, whatever else pops up in the chat there. So press conference Monday today. Mike Prater agreed before the show, folks. You can ask him whatever you want. He's an open book today. So get that in the chat right now, and we'll get your questions loaded up for Mike Prater in the ICCU YouTube chat. But Mike, snowing outside. Happy Monday to you.
I love this snow. I was just telling a couple of family friends yesterday that we need a little bit of a snowstorm, and this was perfect. It wasn't the Armageddon snowstorm. It was just enough to kind of tickle us a little bit for winter, and made it in safely. I hope everybody's out there driving safe, and let's get after it. It's a big week. It's Super Bowl week. It's Boise State basketball week. It's a good week, BJ.
I can't get my kids to make their bed, do their laundry, do their homework, whatever. But I look outside and they're 5 minutes late for the bus, and they got quite the size snowman out there already in the backyard. So it is still coming down, some pretty thick flakes right now. And they wanted to go out there by 8 o'clock, and I said, it's barely a dusting. You're not going to be able to make a snowman, but go ahead. First snow of the year, give it a shot. And they've got what's that movie, Jack, or whatever that movie is. They got a full-size snowman out there in the backyard. So
nice.
They're having fun. And yeah, I'm about 3 hours away for taking off for Las Vegas, where it's 75 and sunny. So I'm not going to miss the snow here. I picked a good day to get out of town, assuming I can, Mike Prater. But the Broncos heading to Las Vegas later this afternoon. Tomorrow night they'll play at UNLV, and you joined the show I guess last Monday, Mike Prater, and it was rock bottom for Boise State. They had lost another game, and it was not looking good. And I think you're here to predict they're going to the Final Four now.
Well, I don't know about that, but certainly back on track for Boise State. Let's dive into what happened over these last couple of games, and certainly a couple of get-right games for Boise State basketball. Yeah, they're two of the bottom teams in the Mountain West Conference. Fresno State brings absolutely no energy to the table, which that should be a conversation in itself. How did Fresno State get to be this bad, and why is Fresno State holding this conference when it comes to basketball down so much? That's embarrassing how bad that program has become. I was talking to a couple of Fresno State guys, buddies of mine, over the weekend, and it's just bad. It's horrible. But with all that aside, it's about Boise State, and Boise State took care of business. One nice close game last week to get back on track. One big blowout. I think everybody's a little bit happier. We know the schedule's a little bit more favorable. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow night. And then we're down to Final 4 home games, including a freebie against San Jose State, and then 3 big-time basketball games, home games to finish up the season. So I think it's shaping up to be compelling. I don't know where the season's going to go. I don't know how Boise State's going to finish, but I'm compelled by what's going on with Boise State basketball over these next couple of weeks.
I mentioned the Blue and Orange store had some jerseys, Mike Prater. Surf City Bill asking where he gets his Mike Prater signed jersey, and Vlad responds, Goodwill.
If they even take that stuff at Goodwill. I dropped off a whole bunch of stuff at Goodwill this weekend. I promise you there was no signed autographed Mike Prater jerseys. Those would be worth about they have to pay you to take away those kinds of things. They don't even take those kinds of things at the Goodwill.
Well, you're right about one thing. Fresno State is, I hate to say it, they're awful. Their coach, Vance Wahlberg, very nice guy. He came on. I talked to him for Lindy's magazine over the summer, and then at media days, I talked to him, and nice guy, been coaching for a long time. He's how do I say it nicely? He's a veteran in the coaching profession, and I happened to be walking into the arena about the same time their bus was pulling up. So I said, "I'll wait a second and say hello to Vance and see if he remembers me." And he gets off the bus, and I said, "Hey, Vance, BJ Raines." "Oh yeah, how you doing?" We're small talking, and wasn't really sure what to say, And so I said, "Well, it's sure been fun watching you guys play this year." And he puts his arm around me. He goes, "No, it's not."
Thank you for being
sure
nice.
Said that or not, but the injuries have really taken a toll on them, and it's hard enough, Mike, for Boise State to be making 3 transfers gel and make the new 8 newcomers with freshmen. You talk about bringing in Division II and Division III and guys from. He had a complete rebuild mode, taking over for a first year coach and tried to get the pieces to fit. And you think it's you're seeing some of the effects of a Leon Rice team making guys fit that have come from other places. They just haven't been able to make any of those pieces fit at Fresno. And individually, there's a couple nice guys I like, but overall, they just, they have to go to Air Force, and maybe Air Force, that's where they get, maybe that's where Air Force can get their first conference win, because Air Force is winless in the conference right now. And but Air Force is at least, they were a miracle drive away from beating San Diego State. Like, Air Force has at least shown a pulse at times. Nothing against Vance, nice guy, but they're just, that's a really tough spot right now. They're not getting any crowds at the Save Mart Center, and they're 5-17 now. I think 1-10, I believe. Their one win in conference was over Air Force. So we do need to get that out of the way. That part of Boise State's performance, yes, was unfortunately due to Fresno State just being not very good at all, and that deserve, you got to preface everything you say about Boise State's game against Fresno State with yes, Fresno State is not good. That's not like you just beat New Mexico or something. Let's get that out. Fresno State is not good. But with that said, that is the second straight game where you did see some encouraging signs, and you can't just completely throw the game out. They played the game, they covered the spread. It was a game that counted, and you try to find positives, negatives, whatever. And I do think that for the second straight game, the defense was a little bit better, and the rebounding, and it seems like some things they focused on during that bye week are starting to improve a little bit. And again, I get it. The defense is going to be good against a team like Fresno. They're going to make them look like, whoever, and that is part of it. But second straight game, Nevada and then Fresno, you take care of, you do what you need to do. You get 2 home wins. You start to get the rotation figured out a little bit. You start to figure out some of this, and a long way to go, Mike Prater, but there are some small signs that maybe it's going in the right direction here.
Yeah, absolutely, as a team. And then you can even, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that here as well over these next half hour, but just individually as well. I thought Omar Stanley in the home game the other day looked terrible, throwing bricks at 3-pointers. throwing up putbacks and banking him off the rim. But then he comes back the second night and he gets a little bit more confidence. So it's a process. It's a individual process for about 3 or 4 guys on this team. It's an individual game-by-game process for the coaching staff trying to figure this stuff out. And it's probably one of those kinds of seasons where as soon as you figure it out, they're going to get another curveball and something else is going to happen. And it's an individual process to try to figure out this entire team as well. So it's really complicated right now. When you get, when you lose 4 of 6 and you got kind of, no panic situation, but you got little red fires all over the place and you got to kind of put them out and you got to figure out, okay, do I put out that fire? Do I put out that fire? Do I put out that fire? And I think the coaching staff's doing a pretty good job. They seem to check all the boxes over these last couple of games that they needed to. If they had a to-do list, for the most part, I think they took care of it. A couple of other individuals can still get out there and do some things. I understand that. And overall, offensively, looking for a little bit more consistency, but the defense was a good start. Absolutely. And 2 wins was all that really mattered. I know we're heading into the stretch drive. It's February now, the last full month of this season. And Boise State at least wakes up today, getting on that plane to Vegas, and it starts to feel a little bit better about themselves.
Yeah, and we'll get to this later in the show. But, I mean, if they beat UNLV tomorrow, they have a 3-game lead on the bye. I mean, they're in 5th place right now, but the 6th place team would be 3 games behind them. So they would pretty much not be assured, but with the schedule they have remaining, they would pretty much, in my opinion, have the bye, and which is at this point we said was the only goal: finish in the top 5 and give yourself a chance and not have to play on that first day. If they win tomorrow night, UNLV would be 6th place and be with 7 losses. Boise State has 4. So tomorrow is a big game from that standpoint, because if you lose, you're only 1 game up on the bye. So that would be a nice thing in the right direction tomorrow. But we talked about it, Mike, the schedule. I said on Idaho Sports Talk, I mean, Boise State had the hardest schedule of all the contenders the first half. They have the easiest of all the contenders in the second half. And I know sometimes people make that as excuses, whatever, but the numbers said it was there were more wins coming for Boise State, and they got 2 of them last week. And as the rotation went from 11 to 9. We saw at the very end of the game, Lockett and Anderson got in the game just because they were up by 25, but those guys didn't play till there were 3 minutes left. I mean, it's in 2 games pretty apparent that Anderson and Lockett for the time being are the odd guys out. So they've cut it down to 9 a little bit. And I asked Leon after the game, and I have the bite if we want to play it, but I respectfully asked. I just don't understand. The one thing I don't understand is the Ugbo starting. He literally played 3 minutes, then went to the bench, didn't play the rest of the half. Started the second half, played 2 minutes, went to the bench, didn't play the rest of the game. I'm not sure I've ever seen a guy start and play 5 minutes, start both halves, play 5 minutes. I mean, he did. I guess he scored in the second half when he came in and had a rebound there too. But I guess some guys maybe just like coming off the bench better, and maybe even sitting for that 2 minutes for Javen Buchanan before he comes in is a mental thing that he's okay with. And, he's one of the beneficiaries. We've talked about it, but he played 25 minutes and would have been more if it wasn't a 20-point game probably. So some of these numbers, Mike, are a little skewed just because of what the score was. You're up 19 at halftime or whatever it was. But he played 25 minutes again, was in double figures. He seems like, so some of the changes we talked about, shorten the rotation. They went from 11 to 9. Get Buchanan more action, and he's, he is getting more action. And then Bowie, we wanted to see more from him. He played 23 minutes in that game and hit 3 threes and had 9 points. Like Stanley's the one guy, and again, part of that's on him. He had how many fouls did he have? 4 fouls for Stanley. I mean, he played 16 minutes, but he had 4 fouls, and so I think they want to play him more. And our man Nathan Carroll his theory is they're only starting Ugbo because at some point he's just literally going to swap Stanley back in there, and that's just a placeholder. Ugbo is just in there for till Stanley's ready. But 16 minutes, 10, but he did have 10 points, 6 boards in 16 minutes, a very efficient game. So I guess my long-winded, diatribe there was a lot of the things we wanted to see and talked about we're starting to see here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that, especially that first game, they're bringing Ugbo in for a little bit of a defense pick-me-up, and I guess he's okay defensively, but he's a massive liability. This is one where I think the coaches are overthinking it. It seems like they're bringing in Buchanan right about the 2.5-minute mark of each half. Just start the dude. I mean, he's clearly one of your best players. I don't think he's a detriment on defense, and he can play just as well at defense, close to it as Ugbo can, and certainly brings a lot more value to this team with his offensive weaponry. So yeah, that part, I think they need to clean that up a little bit more. And I'm still not, and I always feel bad when I say this, and I know you and guys like you and Johnny are probably, roll your eyes when I say this, but I don't think RJ Keene should be starting either. I love his energy. I love what he can bring to a basketball game. He's also a offensive liability. I'm not even sure he's allowed to shoot, let alone can shoot the ball if he wanted to. So that part kind of bothers me a little bit. I'd love to see him come off the bench and do his thing, but maybe get Bowie, maybe get some of these other guys, Buchanan, in the starting lineup. Let them play a little defense. You're going to need that kind of offensive power as the season winds down. And if you have 4 or 5 guys out there on the court and one of them's out there just bringing you energy and defense, but he can't shoot, he can't score, that's not good. That's not good. This team is not good enough offensively to go one down on offense. So I keep saying that over and over, and I know it's not popular, and I feel bad because he's a good kid who works his butt off. He hustles. He's really, really fun to watch. He's the fan favorite that I need to come off the bench to give not only the team a spark, but the crowd a spark as well.
I'm not going to lie, Mike. I was driving down about 5:15 on Wednesday, and I hear Mike Prater say, I never want to see R.J. Keene see the floor. And then I get to the arena, and a little birdie tells me R.J. Keene is starting, and I laughed so hard. I was like, I cannot wait.
I said R.J. Keene and Ugbo should not be starting or even on the floor, and then Leon went out and started both of them.
I was like, I cannot wait to hear what Prater's going to say. I told Johnny, I cannot wait to hear what Prater's. I was so mad I had to wait till Monday to talk to you about it. But I mean, in that first game Wednesday,
R.J. Keene deserves minutes. There's no doubt about that. And maybe I said that the other day and flip and see. R.J. Keene deserves minutes. R.J. Keene deserves at least 10 to 12 minutes per half. And again, I just don't like him starting. And I think he's a lot more valuable on the bench. And maybe it's more about the deficiencies when it comes to putting the starting 5 together.
I would give you Ugbo. I don't understand that one. Nice guy. I think he has a bright future here. He is kind of a bruiser. I think he's a guy that could give you backup center minutes for a couple minutes when somebody needs a break. I don't. Someone in here saying Ugbo's a beast. Give him a couple minutes to beat up the other team and set the tone. I mean, it's like 4 possessions when they pull him out. I don't know if you really have even time to do that. So
yeah,
I get the sentiment. Ugbo's the one that's just a little odd to me. Just start Buchanan. He's a much better threat. I will push back a little bit on Keene in part because he's affiliated with the show and has an NIL deal here, and he's a good dude. But mostly because I do think he does a lot that just doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. But when you put Keene and Ugbo together, that's part of the problem because you do have 2 guys right now, Mike, that are pretty much, not threats at all, not alone score, not even shoot. And so when 2/5 of your starting lineup doesnn't score or is not a threat to score, I totally get your thought there. But if they would just make the switch with Ugbo, I'd be a little more okay with Keene. Just because but again, it's also hard for me to get too upset when Ugbo plays 2 minutes and then he's gone. Like, it's just weird. It's just kind of weird and doesn't make sense to me. But it's also like, why am I going to worry about 2 minutes? They get Buchanan in there pretty early, and Buchanan still gets his 30 minutes, and that's all we really care about. So who plays the first 2 minutes? I probably don't really care that much, to be honest. I just think it's more funny and weird than anything else at this point.
I think weird's a good word here because it doesn't make any kind of sense. And it's not a charity case, and the defensive thing, I guess it made sense 2 games ago when they were trying to get their defense back on track. But yeah, weird's a perfectly good word. I'm going to steal that one from you when it comes to Ugbo. But
I do think Keene he had 5 rebounds, 2 assists in 14 minutes there in that game the other day. And he had both assists were kind of highlight reel plays too. I mean, he just makes winning plays. Again, when you pair him with a guy like Ugbo, it's more obvious to me. But if you get some other guys out there, I think Keene is certainly worthy of playing. And I have no problem if he's, earned his minutes to be the first one and get his name called. And I don't have a huge problem with Keene. Ugbo is the one that I think is a little odd. But, it's clear that Javen Buchanan is one of their best players. And you had the stat, I know, what was it, like 12 or 13 games in a row? I hadn't realized that, and I heard you say it on the radio that he had at least 3 fouls. And so that was one of the reasons I think they didn't start him, as they were a little against Nevada when we were all calling for it, is they were a little nervous about the fouls, and you don't want to get an early foul on him in the first minute of the game. And then when you beat Nevada, it's kind of like, okay, well, we might as well stick with the same lineup against Fresno, and so you'll probably see the same lineup. At some point, don't fix it if it's not working. But I don't know if that's why, if it's just they don't want to get him in foul trouble or what. But he only had, I think, 1 foul against Nevada, and he did have 3 in this game. So that's your one concern with Buchanan, is not fouling.
But I think that's easily correctable. If he was averaging 3-4 fouls a game there for about a half dozen or for about a dozen games, and now he's down to 4 total in the last 2 games, that's progress. That's the one thing you can talk about. I think one thing that Leon Rice talked about the other day was just, sloppy hands. Sloppy hands. You're getting out there and you're slapping. And if that's 1, maybe 2 fouls a game, that's really the difference maker. So, I never really thought of disciplined hands. We always hear football coaches talking about disciplined eye control. You got to be able to lock your eyes in on the opposing quarterback or your opponent that you're supposed to be dealing with. That's a simple task that coaches absolutely demand from their players, and just keeping more disciplined hands and not going out there and slapping them around. So I watched him really, really intently in that Nevada game, and I thought he was very, very disciplined in terms of the foul situation. Just the one foul, and he got 30 minutes. I think it may have even been a career high. I think it was a career high 30 minutes, and it looked really, really good. And then he comes back with 3 fouls against Fresno State. I'm not too much worried about that. I think he's going to be just fine with the foul problem moving forward. I think he's going to continue to get better and demand 30 minutes a game, maybe 35 minutes a game for the rest of the season.
Okay, a couple other positives we've seen the last couple games. We'll get to that in just a second, and then obviously look ahead to UNLV. But I want to thank RoePaint.com, our title sponsor, ROEPaint.com, all your painting needs. They came out and did an estimate on some drywall and painting work we have, and sent us the email. We saw the price. Everything was great, and we approved that. And we're looking forward to having RoePaint.com come out and be a customer of theirs and get some work done here. Great process, great staff, and, of course, great owner, Andy Rowe. Check them out online at RoePaint.com. TacoBellWorks.com. Speaking of great, all of our people, all of our sponsors, I'd be saying that 15 times, are great people, great folks. We appreciate them and their support, and that includes the Nicolason family, SON Management, Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. TacoBellWorks.com is the website. You can check them out and see all their charitable giving efforts. They've committed $400,000 plus to student-athlete scholarships at Boise State. And, the food's pretty darn good as well. Those Cantina Bowls, the $7 Lux Cravings boxes. So hit up our friends at Taco Bell, a Treasure Valley-owned, locally owned Taco Bell location. And, again, get more information if you want to apply for a job at TacoBellWorks.com. Tyson Degenhart, ICCU.com. Idaho Central Credit Union saw our friend Shelby Lindley sitting courtside. I don't know who he knows that gets seats, but he was sitting courtside on Saturday at the game against Fresno State. Idaho Central Credit Union, you may think you like your banking experience. I can promise you'll like your banking experience more at ICCU. So easy to use. You go in to set up your account. You never have to go back in. It can all be done remotely from your laptop, from your phone, your computer. So Idaho Central Credit Union online, ICCU.com. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, thespateam.com, whether it's a sauna, whether it's a pool table, whether it's a spa like on the screen for your back patio, they got you covered. You can go to one of their 4 locations, Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. You can view their full inventory and options online at thespateam.com. We mentioned this is a Blue and Orange Store Monday here. All your Boise State gear, hit up the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Coaches, sideline apparel, sweatshirts, jackets, even those logo golf balls. Mike Prater getting ready for golf season here, even though it doesn't feel like it. But all your apparel, all your gear. I know you have a lot of options around town, but the best selection, the best prices. Support the sponsors, folks. You can order online anywhere in the world at theblueandorangestore.com, or just go to the Boise Town Square Mall, the second floor there next to Pro Image. And, Mike, today's the day because the Broncos got to 70 points on Saturday. You can get a hot dog, a fountain drink, and a banana for $2 today at Jackson's. Use your Let's Go Rewards app. And anytime the Broncos score 70 points 2 days later, that's the offer. And so Saturday they got to 70. So today you just download the Let's Go Rewards app. It's free. It's quick. It's easy. You get a lot of great daily things in there. But today, $2 for a hot dog, a fountain drink, and I believe they throw in a free banana. And that's like 50% off the regular price. So make sure you head on in today to Jackson, support the sponsors. Tell them you heard about it on Bronco Nation News. Thank them for sponsoring Bronco Nation News. And make sure you use the Let's Go Rewards app to get your hot dog, fountain drink, and soda deal. And that is courtesy of our friends over at Jackson's. All right, Mike, one guy that continues to impress, Alvaro Cardenas. Again, even in like a, somewhat quote-unquote quiet, stat game, 13 points, but 7 assists again, only 2 turnovers, 26 minutes for him. And he had maybe 2 of the highlight reel plays of the game I'm putting on the screen here. First, he's in the corner for the 3, gets his defender to fall down, steps back, and hits the 3-pointer there. When you make the defender fall down, you got to hit the 3 or the play doesn't count. Same here, the behind-the-back pass over in the corner to Julian Bowie, and a lot of pressure there on Bowie to hit that 3 as well. But 2 big plays where the first part of the play was cool, Mike. The guy falls down there, but then Cardenas hits the 3. And then, as I said, in transition on the break here, the sweep behind-the-back pass right to Bowie in the corner, and he drains the 3. Those were 2 fun plays that had the crowd making some noise on Saturday.
Yeah, he's been really fun to watch. And I know every now and then he's had a little ups and downs here, maybe his shooting, but you know what? You talk about a guy, and I know you mentioned this about RJ, about doing all the little things right. and then even more. I mean, he's been really steady, really fun to watch. It's really a shame that Boise State's only going to get him for 1 year. I had no idea until looking up some of the numbers on Saturday how much he's going to obliterate pretty much every assist record known to man at Boise State. Not the career stuff, but certainly the single season stuff. And I mean, this guy is just a machine. If you look at his game by game stuff, his assists are just 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 6, 9. I mean, it's crazy. And that behind the back pass and 3-pointer the other day, I haven't seen everybody on Boise State's basketball team smiling collectively at the same time. I don't think I've seen it all season. You look at those two on the court, you look at the rest of the guys on the court, in the background, you look at the guys on the bench, and there are 20 big, fat, happy smiles. I think that was kind of the peak of this season and what this basketball team is trying to collect moving forward. Those kinds of feelings, that kind of atmosphere, that was really fun to see, bud.
And I'm not going to say, oh, I told you so, whatever, but like I was super high on Cardenas when they got him. And I thought just because watching him at San Jose State, he was like the perfect kind of fit. And you mentioned only having him for 1 year. Man, you just wish you had him last year. If you put him with Ugbo and Max Rice and some of these guys and the shots he could have created for them, like that team doesn't just beat Colorado. They may win another game or two in the tournament last year if you had Cardenas instead of Anderson last year. So, yeah, it's all coulda, woulda, shoulda. But I think Cardenas has been the perfect fit. And if everybody wants to get on Leon Rice for Dylan Anderson not working out or some of these other that's fine. But they went 2 for 3 this year with Cardenas and Buchanan in the transfer portal. And I don't know what the hit rate is, what's considered a success, whatever. But they knew they needed a point guard. They found a point guard. And kudos to Mike Burns. The morning after they lost to Colorado, they flew back all night to Boise, and he literally turned around, got on another plane, and went to San Jose and had lunch with Cardenas literally that next day. And that's what led to them getting Alvaro Cardenas. And we'll see how the season plays out. But kudos to this coaching staff for identifying Alvaro Cardenas as a fit, as a need, and then being able to get it done because he, where would they be without Alvaro Cardenas right now?
Well, certainly a lot worse shape than they are right now. I mean, I don't know about wins and losses, but I'm not so much worried about that part. I'm the only negative for me about Cardenas other than that 1 year is, now what's Leon Rice going to do? I kind of jokingly, and I think a couple of other people have said this along the way, that Leon Rice, who calls him the best point guard he's ever coached, he flat out said that multiple times this year. He is the best point guard I've ever coached. And that's coming from a guy who's coached a lot of successful basketball players and a lot of successful programs at Gonzaga and Boise State. I almost feel like it's a drug and he's addicted to it. And the European point guard thing, Cardenas brings such a different style, the smoothness, the way he carries his body, the way he handles it, the way he moves in traffic, just the whole sleek European Euro step kind of fun stuff. And I don't care if you're a traditional American point guard, you should be worried because I wonder if Leon's going to try to go out and get himself a European point guard every season for the rest of his life. I know they're really good at point guard moving forward, and they got some prospects that they absolutely love, some of these younger guys. But the point guard, the European point guard thing can really be infectious for a guy like Leon Rice. I'm wondering in the offseason if he's going to go out and get himself another one and try to crowd up the point guard room at Boise State a little bit. But he's fun to watch, and I'm sure that Leon Rice is going to think about that and enjoy that while he has him.
And whether it's a European or whether it's a guy from another school, like it's going to be pretty easy, I think, for them to recruit the point guard position moving forward. Also, if you're a transfer portal point guard, they can just say, put on the tape of Alvaro Cardenas. We handed him the reins to our offense, and look what the year he had, and set himself up to go play pro ball for a long time. This could be you next year. And so, yeah, ideally you find a guy that's maybe a year or two younger. But the thing I'll say about Cardenas too is the dude is as much as a competitor of anyone I've met in that Boise State program in a super long time. And we talk about leader, and I know sometimes it's all kind of just lip service, whatever. But I went to practices like over the summer, Mike Prater, and he was getting in guys' faces about drills and doing things right. And like he literally is like commands the respect from day one and took over as a leader of this team. And when they had that rock bottom moment and they lost to Colorado State, and all season he's been great. They lose, they win. He always says, one of those guys that says, hey, BJ, how you doing? Calls you out by name, says how you doing, just respectful, typical Leon Rice, player. That's how all those guys are on there. But even in the tough losses, he's always been great, whatever. But after that rock bottom game, I'll be honest, I was a little nervous. There's one of the reasons I didn't do my show live with the interviews. I said, I'm going to record the interviews in the back. Maybe I get some better stuff if Leon and the players don't feel like it's live and they can kind of relax a little bit, maybe give me a little more honest answers and just didn't want anybody or Leon blowing up on the live show and reading the comments, whatever. I just said, okay, for this game, I'm going to go do it in the back. It's only 8:00. We got plenty of time. They give me Cardenas, and I'm thinking, because he had the last shot that missed, I'm just kind of wondering, who knows? And he said it, and the way he said it, and I should play it at some point here, maybe tomorrow morning, Mike, but the way he said it, you could tell he honestly believed it. Like, he still thinks they're going to win. Like, he said, hey, like, I came here to win, and we're going to win. Like, there's 11 games left. Like, there's a lot of time left. Like, he truly believes this team can still do all the things they wanted to do when the season started. He was not, you could just tell the way he was still positive and still kind of like determined, like, no, yeah, it is rock bottom, but we got 11 games left. I came here to win. We are going to win. Like, we're going to figure this out. And if that's the guy that's leading your team and playing 30 minutes a game, and that's the guy in the locker room telling guys what to do, like, I could just tell after that Colorado State game with the way Cardenas acted, like, they're not done yet. They may not have enough time left to win the league, but they're not going to just fold here and give up shop, and this season's going to become a disaster. They're going to still try to make something of this. And then sure enough, I asked a similar question after the Nevada game, and his last quote, which I led my story with, was, people are going to think I'm crazy, laugh at me, whatever, but like, we still truly believe we can win this league. Like, you look at the schedules that are remaining, they're 3 games back, but you look at like who still has to come to Boise. They play all those teams. Like, he's like, you're going to think I'm crazy, but like, we have a good team and we can still win this league. And so I don't know if they can, but when one of your best players, your senior leader, is fighting and, tooth and claw and diving on the floor and pumping his fist after baskets, and you can just tell how much he wants this, that's a good place to start, in my opinion. And that's one of the reasons I'm still semi-optimistic about this team moving forward.
Yeah, and you should be semi-optimistic. Even I'm semi-optimistic. I was semi-optimistic last week, thinking that this basketball team is going to be able to have a strong second half, and it's because of guys like that. I watched every second of that interview after that game, and, I watched the Tyson Degenhardt. I watched the Leon Rice one, and, Leon was very, very dejected. Even Tyson was a little bit dejected and kind of, he kind of, you asked him a couple of specific questions, Tyson, and he kind of wandered off into Nowhereville. I thought very perceptive in terms of what that interview with Cardenas was. He was mature about it. And when you get a European point guard, when you get a European dude, he's going to be just a little bit more mature in the way he handles things. That's just kind of the DNA of what a guy like Cardenas is. And I thought that post-game interview was awesome. I thought he handled it. Even when he said, quote unquote, outlandish things, I bought it. I buy it from this guy because he looks you in the eye and he's got that sincerity to him, and I totally believe it. So I don't know about winning the league. I don't think it's out of the question, and it probably doesn't even matter if they do. Just play well, get in that top 5, and give yourself a chance to win on Friday night in Vegas. Give yourself a chance to win on Saturday night in Vegas. And I love the fact that Alvaro Cardenas is in charge of this team. Tyson Degenhardt's the leader. There's no doubt about that, and is a great leader on and off the court. But if you have to have a right-hand man to lieutenant, the perfect guy is Alvaro Cardenas.
Another reason they could make a run here is if they can get 20 points, obviously a game out of Andrew Meadow, Mike Prater, his second highest game of his career. He had 21 against Washington State earlier this season. And, he had been a pretty steady guy for them, but the last 3 games he had kind of gotten, lost in the shuffle here, and he had scored in double figures, almost every game. But then you go, 6 points against New Mexico, only 9 points against Colorado State, 6 points against Nevada. And you're wondering, okay, is he the next guy in terms of the shuffle here that's going to go to the bench, or what's going to happen with him? But Andrew Meadow responds with 20 points, 3 3-pointers for him in that game, 1 off his season high there of 4, plays 29 minutes, 7 of 13 from the field. And I think to this point, he's having a very solid season, scoring in double figures, 12 points a game. I don't want to say he's been a disappointment, but his shooting percentage and some of the things, when you hear him, how many shots he takes, and Leon saying he's one of the best shooters, in America, I don't think we've fully seen what Andrew Meadow can do when he gets hot and gets going, and his combination of the 3 ball. But I don't know about you, Mike, but I've been impressed. Like when he gets in the corner and kind of takes off towards the rack, and some of his ability to drive to the, and get up in the air and kind of hesitate and either get a foul and he's a very good free throw shooter. So that's good too, or score there. And I'm waiting for him to just throw down this hammer dunk, because it just seems that you think it's coming at some point here. But overall, 12 points a game, 4.5 rebounds a game. He's shooting almost 50% from the field. Like, it's been a solid, improved sophomore season for Andrew Meadow, and you're certainly encouraged what he, as him being part of this nucleus moving forward. But if he can here in the second half of conference here, take his game to another level and go from a 12-point game a guy to a 15, 16, 17-point game a guy. I'm not saying he's going to score 20 every game, but if you can get multiple 3-pointers a game from Andrew Meadow and he becomes another scoring option for you, along with Cardenas, along with Degenhardt, along with Buchanan, like that could change things a little bit here for this team.
It would change things, but I need to see it first. I'm not quite so high on Andrew Meadow as you are. You're not wrong in everything you just said. The one thing that I need more from him as an outsider just watching this basketball team is consistency. We know that offensively, every third or fourth game or whatever the numbers are, he kind of disappears offensively. But my biggest issue with him is back to what Coach Burns and what this team had just a couple of weeks ago when they were going through that funk of losing 4 of 6 games, just the inconsistencies on defense. And there are times, flat out, and I'll say it, where Andrew Meadow is a liability when it comes to the defense. There are times where I've seen him just standing in the key, standing in the paint, and somebody blows by him at 90 miles an hour. And by the time that Andrew Meadow figures it out, the guy's already scored. So he's a little bit slow for me on defense. I think that's something you can work on, especially with Coach Burns. I think that's going to have to be a offseason priority for him, is to be better consistently when it comes to defense. I'm not worried about the offense. He shot 42,000 shots last year, and he's much, much better of a shooter this year than he was last year. One more offseason, one more summer in the gym, popping up 50,000 shots. He's going to be a deadly dynamite guy moving forward, but I just need to see an emphasis on consistently shooting the ball better, and then definitely being more consistent when it comes to that defense. He's got a sense of urgency. There's just some times where I feel like he's got that California cool thing going, and maybe that was where he came from, and the hair and the goggles. But I need to see some intensity, some urgency with him on the defensive side. You see it sometimes. You know it's there. You know Burns can get it out of him. I think he's going to be really fun to watch moving forward. But those are the two growth areas that I need from Andrew Meadow.
All right, let's go big picture and flip this thing forward to the game tomorrow night, the Mountain West standings, and what we do think is still capable of this team here moving forward in the final segment. First, want to thank Lithia Ford of Boise, lithiafordboise.com. You can view their full inventory of vehicles online, or you can come check out Jim Sturk and Company in their showroom right there on Fairview Avenue in Boise. They've got new NIL deals, Latrell Caples, Cage Casey, Roger Carrion, now driving vehicles from Lithia Ford Boise. A lot of the coaches, administrators. So return the favor, folks. Support the support the folks that are keeping your favorite athletes like Cage Casey at Boise State with folks like Lithia Ford of Boise. Again, online, lithiafordboise.com for that next car or truck purchase. Matt Bauscher, another guy backing it up. You talk about the NIL game with Boise State basketball. Matt Bauscher is certainly involved in that. He's now part of the Boise State home team officially, part of the Amherst Madison Real Estate Advisors Group as well. But number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. When you buy or sell a house with Matt, you get to meet everybody in that picture there. The service is unmatched, and I know everybody has friends that are realtors, but if you want the best service, the best value for your home, the best deal when you're buying a home, no stone is left unturned with Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. You can view them online at bauscherrealestate.com. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. Download their Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. They got locations across the Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, McCall, surrounding states, almost 30 locations in all, and just a great friendly environment, family feel when you walk into their grocery stores there. So love that CUNA location. Find a location near you and get more information on their current specials at shopridleys.com. Hey, if you're looking for a job, how about the trucking industry? Maybe you've never thought about it, but the trucking industry, transportation compliance service, transcompservice.com. Now's the perfect time. Get into the trucking industry, get out there, towing that first load in no time. All the DOT overweight, all the paperwork, the permits and things you need. Let the professionals handle it for you. Up to 75% of people that try to do it themselves end up going out of business. That's why Transportation Compliance Service is here to help you out. Local company helping folks all over the world. You can get more information and view their services online at transcompservice.com. Mike Prater, I was trying to get to 40. I'm not quite there yet. 39 pounds down since October, thanks to Lean Feast. LeanFeastMeridian.com has been just a game changer for me, and I know for you as well, in terms of just the convenience of popping it in the microwave there at the office, on the go. 2 minutes in the microwave, and you're eating steak, shrimp, chicken, fish, you name it. They're feeding the football team. They're feeding the basketball team. And now they deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. So you can order on a Sunday or Monday. It's good in your refrigerator all week, 5 days. And just the convenience of not having to cook and having great, delicious meals. And all various diet options. I've got the cauliflower rice going for my keto option, and 39.0 now is what we're up to in terms of pounds lost, and it's thanks in large part to Lean Feast. Don't forget, Signature Roofing presents speakpipe.com/BNN, our voice inbox. You can leave us a voicemail anytime. We'll play the best ones on an upcoming show. Speakpipe.com/BNN. After a game, pre-game, anytime you want. I had one from Quentin Robert yesterday, but it was pretty much just thanking us at BNN, so I wasn't sure we needed to play it. But thank you for the voicemail. Appreciate you. Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades, whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, an inspection, all your roofing needs. Again, they've been around for more than 2 decades. MySignatureRoofing.com is the website, and there's good people over there. We appreciate them, and check them out. Signature Roofing, and again, leave your voicemail at speakpipe.com/BNN. Mike, tomorrow's the day. We're going to give away our altered giveaway tomorrow. We had, like I said, some personal family health problems and some things that popped up with some folks involved in this trip. So we're not doing the private jet trip tomorrow to Vegas, but instead we're giving away a $500 gift card to Southwest Airlines, 2 nights at Circa, and a gift certificate for a dinner at Barry's Prime. They're at Circa, and we'll probably throw in some other goodies as well, but we'll give that away tomorrow morning. I'll be live. I'm going to make you jealous tomorrow, Mike. I'll be live in the sports book at Circa Resort and Casino tomorrow morning on a game day, doing our show live tomorrow morning from Circa, and we will give away this package to a lucky subscriber tomorrow on the show. So if you're interested, still time to jump in. $50 for a 1-year subscription to Bronco Nation News. Just use that promo code BNN50 deal that you see scrolling across the screen. That gives you $20 off your first year. And tomorrow about 8:30 before the show, we'll go get our full list of yearly subscribers, put them into the little website that generates us a random winner, and we'll pick our winner tomorrow. So if you're hopefully it's because of Mike Prater's columns or Nathan Carroll or myself that you want to subscribe, help out our efforts, our travel costs and things. But if nothing else, you got a chance to win some cool prizes, including the grand prize tomorrow, a trip for 2 down to Las Vegas. Again, BNN 50 deal. You can sign up today at BroncoNationNews.com. And as long as you're in by like 8:30 tomorrow, you'll be registered for the grand prize tomorrow. This game tomorrow, Mike, a little bit tricky. I mean, Ken Palm only has them favored by 2. We've seen Utah State go down to UNLV and lose. We've seen UNLV go to San Diego State and win. Like, this UNLV team certainly has the talent to go and beat anybody on their schedule. They've already proven that. But Boise State already got them, pretty handily here in Boise a couple weeks ago. UNLV has lost 4 straight games. Now, all 4 games were very close. They only lost by 2 to Wyoming. They lost by 2 to New Mexico. They lost by 5 at Utah State. And then they just lost by 6 in a game that was tied to the final seconds against Nevada. So, yes, they've lost 4 in a row. Yes, their overall record is not great, but they've played a lot of close games. They've beaten some good teams. This is certainly a game Boise State can lose if they don't go down there and play well tomorrow. But for all the, staying in the 1% chance of an at-large bid, the 5% chance of winning the league, like all this stuff that you're just kind of, even if it's very minuscule that you're holding out hope for, all that stuff means, it includes a win tomorrow night. So kind of a sneaky game tomorrow night. I mean, I don't even know if it is sneaky. They're only favored by 1 or 2 points, and it's a Mountain West road game, which tells you all you need to know. Boise State 2-4 on the road this season. This is a big one for a lot of reasons tomorrow night.
I'll go even bigger than that. I mean, this might be the biggest game of the season, and I'll even pull out a Spencer Danielsonism because it's the next one. But Boise State has to win this game tomorrow night, guys. And don't forget, it's a late game. I believe it's a 9 o'clock start here locally. Everything you just said is exactly why Boise State has to win this game. Boise State's back on track. And for Boise State, it's not about physical. It's about mental. And you're feeling good about yourself. You hit rock bottom 10 days ago. You came out and you played 2 nice games, not great games, but 2 nice games. You got yourself back on track. You got a couple of the dudes feeling pretty good about themselves, and now you got to go on this trip tomorrow. And if Vegas has lost 4 games in a row, Boise State took care of them here. That was 20 plus, if I remember right. It was a blowout here. You've got to go down there. You can't lose this game. I'm the guy that's in the camp that said the at-large stuff, not even 1%. I don't think Boise State can get in the at-large, even if they just won out. But Boise State has to keep that confidence going. Boise State has to keep the momentum going. If Boise State wins 4 out of 5 games, 5 out of 6 games, whatever it is going down the stretch, that's okay. But they have to have tomorrow night because this is a game that can be winnable. UNLV is wounded right now. Boise State has they beat them handily here. So go down there, take care of business, come back here on Friday, take care of business, get that winning streak get that sucker up to 4 straight games and start feeling good about yourself, because after that, then things get really, really squirrely with the schedule again. So you have to win this game tomorrow night, BJ. It's mandatory to win this game tomorrow night.
Yeah, you win tomorrow night, then you get, again, a sneaky San Jose team that you only beat by 2 points thanks to, a missed free throw out there in San Jose, and they've beaten New Mexico. So I'm not going to say, again, another game they should win, but I'm not going to say is a guaranteed 20-point win on Friday. Like, they've got some players, and so that's going to be, but a home game against San Jose, similar spot. But yes, if you can win Tuesday and win Friday, all of a sudden you're on a 4-game winning streak, Mike, and you get another 8 days off to get, healthy and keep working on stuff before you go down to San Diego. They have no game. They play on a Friday night, and then they have their bye. So they get the extra night with the game being on Friday too. So they get, which thank you, schedule makers, allowing me to go to Vegas on Saturday for the Super Bowl. But that's a side story. But 8 days, and then you go down to San Diego. And let's be honest, Mike Prater, like, San Diego State hasn't really, maybe they figure it out. They've got talent, but they don't look like the San Diego State of old. 2 Saturdays in a row, they've blown huge, they've had to make huge comebacks and have other teams blow huge leads. In San Jose and Wyoming the other day, was up 7 or 8 in the second half. So I don't think that's a game where in years past, I still think it's a tough game. If I had to guess right now, that's still maybe a game they lose, but that's not the daunting, they have no chance to win type game that it is most years you go to San Diego State. And then after that, you come home for New Mexico. Again, you're at home, so I know it's a tough game, but you're at home. You feel like you have a chance in that one. And then at Nevada, it could be tricky just because they're better than their record shows, and they've struggled at times playing in Lawler. But again, they're not a great team. And then you come home for Utah State, another home game. Your last 2 road games are Fresno and Air Force, the 2 worst teams in the league. And then you finish up with Colorado State at home. Like, that's why this game tomorrow is a really big game, because if you find a way to win tomorrow and you just keep taking one more game off the schedule and then you beat San Jose, all of a sudden you're down to the final 7 games, and like 6-1 looks somewhat attainable, which could get you, I think, into 2nd or 3rd place still in this league. And so a lot of these other teams have harder games on the schedule coming up. I don't know if there's enough runway left in the schedule to win the league, Mike Prater, and that's not necessarily even Boise State. It's mostly the other teams maybe not losing as many games. But if you can find a way to get to 2nd or 3rd place, set yourself up, be riding high with momentum into the conference tournament and have a decent draw. We've seen crazier things happen in the conference tournament.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything crazy about it at all. The Mountain West is wide open this year. You just want to be playing well. You want to situate yourself in a nice position to go into this tournament. So, yeah, we're not asking, again, quoting Spencer Danielson. Now, I'm not asking Boise State to be Superman right now. Nobody's asking Boise State to be Superman. Just go off and win some games, and it's right there in front of you. And everything that they can do is attainable. They don't have to win the regular season title. They don't have to finish out with 11 straight victories or whatever the number would be. Just stay in that top 5, get yourself a bye, be playing well, clean up some deficiencies with some of your guys, individual guys on your team, and start playing better. And so far, so good. We've seen Boise State get back on track, and that's why tomorrow night's so important. You can't have one of those 2-step forward, 1-step back deals. So a 4-game winning streak going into next week, the bye week, the San Diego State game, that's exactly what this basketball team needs right now.
I think we'll find out a lot about this team tomorrow night and where they're at. Okay, were these 2 games just against bad teams, and that's why they're at home, and that's why they won, or do they come out and play well and win pretty decisively tomorrow night? And you're like, okay, I saw something there. That maybe maybe this team is getting ready to go on a roll here. We'll see. I think tomorrow night, for a lot of reasons, is a big game. And yeah, as you said, your best is enough, but your best is required, Mike Prater.
There you go. There you go, baby.
What we got coming up today on Idaho Sports Talk? Super Bowl week begins. The Kellen Moore watch continues. I know a lot of good stuff coming up. Plenty of football, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to hear anything from Kellen Moore for another week. So we're going to kind of table that Kellen Moore watch. We hit that pretty hard last week. Everybody knows that situation. But, today we're diving hard into Super Bowl coverage. The oral history of Jay Ajayi, the last Boise State football player to ever play in a Super Bowl. We're going to kind of break that down a little bit. And then at 3:15, this will be kind of fun. Former Boise State center Clayton Adams. He's now the new offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to join us live at 3:15 today. So it's kind of crazy. Clayton Adams certainly is no Kellen Moore when it comes to name recognition, but here's a Boise State guy. He replaced Scott Huff for 2 years at center. He was the center between Cavender and Huff at Boise State, played 2 years. He was a walk-on here, a junior college kid, and all of a sudden he's coaching in the NFL, and now he's the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Clayton Adams, he's going to join us live at 3:15 today.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And yeah, I was flipping the channels. NFL Network was on the other day, and they were playing that Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, and I saw Jay Ajayi, the part of the game, and I saw Jay Ajayi in there.
Yep.
And so, that's pretty cool for him. And yeah, that's a busy week, fun week. Is tonight the media day thing, I assume? They all flew in yesterday, so tonight might be the kind of crazy media day type thing, and Super Bowl week's officially underway, and looking forward to that. So, Mike, appreciate you. We do agree, though. I mean, Kellen Moore's he's getting it, right?
Yes, I think it's a done deal. I mean, Dirk Cutter came on our show on Friday, talked about in his NFL coaching circles, Kellen Moore is building his staff. We know that there's Super Bowl rules in terms of allowing news like this to come out this week. It's not coming out. I'm 1,000% convinced that this is a done deal. They're waiting to interview Kellen Moore again. They told all the other candidates, hold on. We have to go interview Kellen Moore, and we have to wait till after the Super Bowl to do that. So unless Kellen Moore spits on somebody or vomits during his next interview, and we know Kellen Moore's a pro, and he's going to be fine in that second interview, third interview, whatever it is. I believe 100% Kellen Moore is the next head coach of the New Orleans Saints, and right now he's preparing for a Super Bowl and building his first ever NFL staff.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's another interview. I would be convinced to say they already have a behind-the-scenes handshake agreement or whatever. Just we can't announce it till Monday, but they've stopped talking to other people. There's no news, and it's pretty cool that it's in New Orleans too. That just happens to be the town where he's going to stay and take over, and he would love nothing more, I'm sure, than to put a pause in the Chiefs dynasty and have a great offensive performance, and then in the stadium, and then just stay there as the head coach. It's going to be a great Super Bowl. Going to be a fun week, and I know you guys will be all over it on KTIK. You'll be all over the basketball as well. I know Bob flying down today, and then he'll have full coverage as well. So appreciate you as always, Mike. Thanks to JP for getting us on. We'll be listening 3 to 6 today, 3 to 6 every day this week to Idaho Sports Talk 95.3 FM, 1350 AM. The Ticket. With JP, Bob, Johnny, and Prater. And Jay Tuss will join me tomorrow. I'll be, again, live from Circa tomorrow morning. We're going to be an hour later tomorrow, 10 a.m. In Boise, 9 a.m. Pacific. I need a little extra time at the tables tonight, Mike Prater. I can't get up too early Vegas time tomorrow morning, but appreciate everybody for checking us out. Nathan Carroll does have his latest article just posted to BNN on the basketball team, looking at the numbers in the Nevada game and just big picture. So if you want to be a stat nerd and read some things about UNLV and the game tomorrow and where Boise State sits big picture, check that out at BroncoNationNews.com. And then, listen today at 3 o'clock to Prater. That'll be a great interview with Clayton Adams at 3:15. And then we'll have 9 a.m. tomorrow, Bronco Nation News Live with Jay Tuss tonight. 10 a.m. tomorrow here at BroncoNationNews.com. So thanks again to Travis Hawks, the Blue and Orange Store. Hit up the blueandorangestore.com for all your gear. The RowPaint.com, our title sponsor and the studio sponsor there at KTIK. We appreciate Andy Rowe and company and RowPaint.com. Most importantly, thank all of our advertisers, all of our subscribers, and all of you for your comments and for watching the show. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the snow. Be safe. And we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.
It's game day. Are you ready?
Let's go!
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RowPaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.